Welcome back to The Learning Kind. This is part 2 of our conversation with SV Manjunath, the author of Unsung Foot Soldiers of Our Education System. In this episode, we will be exploring his insights in connection to trending debates in the field of education, from language to equity. So thank you again for your insightful answers. I think I'm a changed person after this conversation. Yeah, you spoke about the importance of this from your personal experience, but was there any moment in your fieldwork when you were actually working with children where you saw the dire need for translations and teaching in mother tongue specifically?
See, there are I think two things come to my mind. One is, my own study. When I had to write a paper for a seminar presentation or whatever, I had done a brief study in terms of how many of the current professionals, my generation and also much younger now, there may be multiple professions. Which medium they had studied earlier? Let's say up to class 10 or class 12 and all that. And then when did they switch over to English? Because now they are all excelling and doing very well, right? This is one question one needs to think about, right?
Yeah.
All of us. Now, I started, as I said, in a class 1 and 2 was in a English medium school, if you want to call it. Then class 3 onwards, I switched on to entirely Kannada medium. I didn't even know the letters and nothing about the language, nothing about the script. I had to go to a tuition house and then learn it, my own thing. And then I kind of somehow picked and continued with both languages at the same. It became bilingual in every sense of the term, and also it was supported by my own home atmosphere and things like that. Yeah. So, but then this, when I did the study, what came out strongly was that more than 50% of the people that I interviewed, they had studied up to graduation, and if not post-graduation, many of them even post-graduation in Kannada medium. And then their professional progress or career development was not impacted by them having studied in the Kannada medium. That's the central point I wanted to bring out. So, because, one needs to understand that if one is strong in your own mother tongue, learning a different language and, becoming bilingual is not going to be difficult. That's my experience also.
Okay.
Right? If you don't learn your mother tongue very well, because that is the language through which you understand the concepts, you understand the basic ideas that is being taught.
Correct.
What is important is to get that fundamentals. See, today we talk about foundational literacy and numeracy. Many children are lacking in that, because that is the base for your entire education. If you don't learn that, basic numeracy, basic literacy, you can't progress in any subjects.
What is basic numeracy, sir?
Basic numeracy is basic arithmetic.
Oh, arithmetic. In that language?
No. I'm just saying basic arithmetic at early stages.
Okay.
Adding, multiplication and subtraction, division and things like that. If you learn it well, that is the base for all your mathematics.
Correct.
Similarly, language skills. All this, listening, speaking, articulating, thinking. It happens through language. Right? So if you don't learn these things basically, that is the foundation, right? So in which language will a person learn these things effectively in? That is a question.
Okay.
Every expert, and it is proven, if it is mother tongue, because that is the language he is living his everyday life. And he is interacting with his neighbors, parents, and his brothers, sisters, and neighbors and all. He is interacting in his mother tongue.
Correct. Yeah.
So what is the problem in actually this? So every, including NEP, most of the education commissions recommendation is that. But then we are moving in a different direction, as if in complete contradiction to what it should be probably.
But so, what do you feel in the difference between the spoken language and the actual written language? I'm a Kannada guy, I speak Kannada at home, but if you ask me to learn maths and physics and social sciences in Kannada, I feel like it's going to be just as difficult for me as it is to learn it in English, because it's so much of a difference.
I agree. See, the way to go is up to primary level, right? Let's say class 1 to 5. Mother tongue education is good. So it is not just language. See, what are the 4-5 subjects that we deal with, right? Generally, in an Indian context, mathematics, science. So at a primary level, science has not fully branched out and grown out.
Yeah.
Right. Only from class 5, 6 onwards, actually, science branches off. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
But let's deal with class 1 to 5. So science and social science, usually 1 to 3 particularly, is integrated into a subject called EVS.
Yeah.
Environmental science. Yeah, basic social science, your neighborhood, your society, some basic elements of citizenship and things like that. All these are covered in environment. Similarly, science, some elements of science is also covered. So both these put together make up. And so you have language, you have mathematics, you have EVS, whatever, right? Now, that's the best thing is to learn in mother tongue, right? If it is possible, right? And then you come to class 6 probably, right? Class 6, my strong feeling is that it should be bilingual. 6 to 8 should be bilingual, right? So, for example, some of the terms, as you are rightly saying, science and whatever, you don't have to struggle too much to find a Kannada root word for a biological plant name and things like that.
Right.
You don't have to struggle. Yeah, so use liberally both languages. So here again, we'll come to the teacher's ability and skills and things like that. Bilingual ability. So it has to be bilingual, right? But both, if it is freely interchanged and used, then by the time a child comes to class 8, 9, I would say sufficiently, adequately, he will be confident to...
In both the languages.
In both the languages, and then he can switch over to English medium in 9th. So that his further progress in terms of admission to professional courses and all that is not going to be hindered. Right? So I think it has to be a measured kind of a thing. So that the child would have also learned things, right?
Correct.
Today what is happening is, irrespective of whether one is studying in, we are losing this point of basically whether the child is actually learning what needs to be learned.
So for this to happen at a large scale, I think government needs to participate. So how can governmental institutions support translation in academic texts?
It's a very appropriate question, I would say. See, I think they can help in a couple of ways at least. One is, when we say translation, large-scale translation of good quality material, we have to assume that for the time being, these good quality materials are available in English largely, right? One has to take that means, see, what are these materials? It will be a book written by somebody in a subject, particular subject. There's articles, individual articles, journal articles, or a section of the book, things like that. So what is involved is the copyright, permission for these copyrighted materials. It's a very difficult process to get. So if you approach a publisher, so the copyright holder will be either a publisher or a writer, right? So one small institution or a small group cannot do this thing. So on a larger scale, subject to these endeavors being non-commercial and purely academic, not for profit, it should be largely available. This knowledge should be available to the public.
Correct.
So I would say the first thing that probably the government can do is to facilitate this process of getting permission for this kind of materials to be used for public use, common use. This is the first thing. The second thing is that this kind of translation is from our experience, is a very challenging and complex exercise. It involves selection of right kind of people, getting them to work on that, because everybody needs to have, for translation, the ability of language, at least ability in 2 languages, understanding of the subject, and being able to actually have that, I would say, stamina to stay with it, learn from it, improve. Because it's not a born skill. One has to develop this skill by practice. So this entire process is, and then making the translation process very attractive. There has to be a decent remuneration for people who are doing this. Okay. Apart from them doing it for society and things like that. So it has to be, so if a lot of people have to involve, then time, effort, money has to be invested.
Correct.
And you'll have to attract the best of people into this. right? So most of the people will be either working or retired or youngsters who are looking for such opportunities. So you need to attract all these kinds of people. So for that, funds have to be allocated. Yeah, if it has to be a large scale, no one institution can. Of course, there are organizations like Translations Mission and things like that. Many of the institutions have to come together, universities, and it has to happen in multiple languages. It's not because India's scheduled languages itself is more than 22 or so.
Correct.
At least all the state languages. If it has to happen in a large scale, it is a massive, massive process. So I think we need somebody like the government, state government, and the central government to come in, pitch in, and then say, yes, bring in the publishers, have some kind of a. It cannot be always legislated. They have to be taken into confidence.
Correct.
That this is for this purpose, this is required, and what can be done. Or even if there are costs, those costs have to be nominal. Because even for giving one-time permission, they may ask for one-time cost and things like that.
Yeah.
So how the whole thing can be managed? It cannot be not unattended. It has to be attended. Careful attention has to be given.
You spoke about good quality translation. So at what scale or at what level do recruitments for translators like this have to take place in order for it to happen at such a large standardized scale, right, for every subject? And who should be these translators? Should they be teachers? What should their backgrounds be?
Teachers can be, but I would say you need to have some amount of subject background. For example, you have to, I'm just saying, science-based articles, if one has to translate, one needs to have that understanding of science. So unless you have had an education in science, you can't do that. And then you have to have ability in 2 languages. So for that, I would say somebody minimum at the level of those who have done post-graduation and above would be required. Just because of the complexity, nature of job that is involved. Right? That is one. And secondly, it has to be a combination of experienced and youngsters who are willing to learn. You have to you basically have to build a pool of people in multiple languages, multiple subjects, and and not just working from one location because it's all online, right? Most of it people can use, and one needs to be also have the ability to do it online, digital.
Very interesting.
Things like that.
Correct.
Yeah, because I would still call it a significantly human endeavor. Human effort is involved here. Many people may access or may use AI technology and things like that. Translation tools have come in and all. But my assessment, my humble assessment and understanding, I think the AI tools are not yet ready. So there has to be, even if one level it translates, one needs to be able to review and vet it and then bring out a good quality text. Ultimately, it should be such that, as if it is made out originally in the language that you are translating.
Right. But I want to ask you, sir, what is your opinion in the context of NEP about the 2-language policy and the 3-language policy debate?
See, this is probably one of the least understood or most misunderstood idea, I would say. These debates are, for various reasons, made into such a big issue without actually going into the root of it. See, let's unravel, let's break open that whole idea. See, what's the idea? At the minimum, see, in the context of Karnataka, there are multiple languages that are spoken by people. Karnataka is very diverse. It is not one state. It has about 6 regions at least. You have the Kalyan Karnataka, you have coastal Karnataka, right? You have Kittur Karnataka, you have central Karnataka, south, and then Bangalore and surrounding areas. There are 6. So all the 6 regions have varied languages, of course, varied culture and food habits, dialects and things like that. Now, when we are talking in terms of language, first let's understand the context, right? What are we talking? Apart from Kannada, which is a major language, a state language, there are many native languages spoken by hundreds or thousands of people in various parts of the state. Let's take the tribal dialects. Yeah, Soliga, Koraga. There are various tribal people speak their own language.
Correct.
right? And then there is Kannada. Let us imagine the child from these communities, Koraga, Soliga community, Lambani, child coming to Kannada. I have known cases where that child's adaptation to learning even Kannada is a very difficult process.
Correct.
And then you have international language, English. So how do we define three languages in this context? I would say the three languages will be the home language, the state language or the textbook language, and then the one more foreign language, because you need access, you need opportunity to grow, for your own development and things like that. So I would define three language this way in our context. So it is not just national language and you give the option.
Yeah.
So I would say at a primary level, and when we talked about translation in the previous conversation, right? So when we say translation, how do we bring into education as many languages of people as possible? That's the real empowerment of people.
Correct.
Right? And then actually creating knowledge bases in these languages. And that is the area of work that is least understood, to be done, most necessary, and our time and effort needs to be invested in that. Yeah, so I would define that way. So you go to Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarhi is a language spoken by a significant number of people.
Yeah.
So that becomes their native language, and then probably Hindi.
Yeah.
And then English.
Yeah.
So why do we have to take only one formula where Hindi, English, and Kannada becomes the three languages?
Yeah.
So I would redefine it in this manner.
Wow.
So that way, many of these languages, Tulu, Konkani, and many of these native languages will be protected, preserved, and not just the languages but their culture and
through language culture, of course.
Yeah. So all that will be preserved.
Correct.
So because many languages are dying.
They are.
So if you say there is a hegemony of one language over the other, we have to decide which language is ruling over which language. We will have to redefine that. We will have to understand this in that context. So I would say it's not a question of two languages. The other point is that why don't you give child a chance to learn as many languages as possible? I was telling you the experiment of Shivaram Kharan, of growing up children. So he was basically used to telling stories to his children. Every day, 3 of his children would get from him, 3 new stories, and demanded by them, asked by them, on this topic. Can you imagine some child asking a father, I want a story on this. Can you tell me? He's given a theme, so he will narrate, and then he will also bring in English wherever necessary. And then in Dakshina Kannada, they have their own local language, local flavor. Tulu and Konkani spoken. So they get multiple languages. By the time they reach 8 or 10, child automatically picks up. And the child has the ability to pick up languages than any adult.
I agree, sir, very much. My dad would do this with me, the storytelling. So I know it very well, but you advocated very strongly the no detention policy, the no detention system in schools. What would you respond to critics who say that this reduces accountability on the part of the students?
Yeah. See, again, this is less understood, I would say, or not understood properly kind of idea. See, what is the idea behind no detention? I have myself experienced in my life. If you detain a child, I was detained for a year, 1 year. Yeah, I've had the ignominy of being detained for a year, much earlier in my career. I mean, in my student days and things like that, where there was only annual exam and not semester exam. And these annual exams were not also conducted like now, within 15 days or 1 month from the previous one and things like that. Anyway, so you'll have to sit with your juniors. That's one thing that you'll have to go through, and all your classmates would have gone ahead and you sit with your juniors and face the consequences and things like that. Leave that as it may. It will have it will impact the child in a very deep manner. It will affect the child's psyche in a very deep manner. It will dent the confidence of the child. It will create a fear in the child, saying that I am not equal to somebody. I am not able to learn. See, now when the examination system, your assessment system is such that you are assessing a child, all children in the same manner, in the You're not assessing a child's ability in sports. You're not assessing a child's ability in creative fields and things like that. Somebody may be excellent. See, I'm not. I told you I was playing cricket.
Yeah.
No marks were given to me in the marks card for my cricketing abilities.
True.
Why not? I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I failed in the subject.
Yeah.
Why should I be assessed in the same manner like other children? Somebody is good in mathematics who was not playing cricket.
Correct.
Somebody is playing cricket and not doing well in mathematics.
Which is counterintuitive to the whole purpose of making the child learn, actually.
Yeah. So I'm saying the idea behind no detention is that up to class 9 or something, as per RTE, the child would not be detained because we should not create a fearful atmosphere for the child.
Correct.
It will dent the confidence and things like that. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that we should not make the child learn. The other extreme is not also true. So I'm saying, how do you ensure then, without detaining a child, how do you ensure that the child learns? That's the central question, and that is the idea behind the concept of continuous comprehensive evaluation. So you assess the child throughout the year, understand where the child is and what are the gaps, what aspect of learning needs to be strengthened, what kind of support one can give to that particular child. That is the entire process or idea behind the continuous comprehensive evaluation. Now, we have implemented this idea for many years now, but have we been able to really achieve the purpose behind the continuous comprehensive evaluation?
Good question. Yeah. Very interesting.
So if we are not able to do that, then it's not a question of either detaining or not detaining. Accountability, yes, but accountability, how? How do you create this accountability? So it's a very difficult. That's why I said the challenge, or the task of a teacher is very complex.
Correct.
So I know many teachers have asked me, continue to ask me, when we were studying, my teacher was holding a stick and doing that and all that. A different context, a different age.
Yeah.
Now it is not so. So how are you able to do without doing all that?
Correct.
Without creating that classroom atmosphere where all children learn, being able to provide extra time to those that are required, and assessing the child continuously throughout. It demands a lot of a teacher, and unless one is trained, one is committed, it won't be possible.
Yeah. So do you still think that CRPs and BRPs are unsung even today, or do you think that things may have changed since your book?
Slightly, it might have changed because over the years, their term has increased. Earlier, their term was only 3 years. Now, the term, I understand, is 5 years. So that there is a stability in their tenure to that extent. But then, I think their biggest constraint is this requirement of handling huge amount of data back and forth from the school back to the department. And again, getting the information back to the schools from the department, as it were. So in this age, I only wonder whether many such data can be digitized, and their time is freed so that they could probably do what they are expected to do, which is mainly providing academic support to teachers so that their teaching becomes better, so that children learn better. So that I'm not sure whether fundamentally across the state whether this we have been able to achieve. So my own impression is that we have not been able to fully get this, see this happening. Yeah. So they do enormous amount of work. Why do we call them unsung heroes? They do enormous amount of work. They have to visit a lot of schools. They are busy all the time. Remember, all these CRPs are essentially teachers.
Yeah.
So they are away from the school for these 5 years or so.
Oh.
They have given their exam, and then they have passed through that exam, and then they are deputed in this role. Yeah, they're essentially teachers. But what they need to be equipped in a manner that they're able to provide support to other teachers as well in that cluster of 15 schools, 12 schools, 20 schools, whatever,
Yeah.
So whether they are able to do justice to their role determines as to whether, their how much they are in demand, and whether their roles are fulfilled or not. So that way, I would still call them unsung because they do many things, and it is not entirely due to their fault that they are busy all the time, but they're not able to actually provide the required support to the teachers.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been such an enlightening conversation for us. You've come here and spoken about translation and the importance of having education which is equitable in all languages. And I think your book, The Foot Soldiers of Our Indian Education, is a must read for everybody. Please do go and read it. And this is a small token of our gratitude for you to come today on our show.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to many more collaborations with you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, would you like to give a note to our audience also and tell them what you feel they should keep in mind while looking at our education system?
Not much. I think I have mentioned many things, but whatever we are doing, I think we need to be sensitive to the very complex system that we are facing. There is inequity, and education should actually bridge the gap of bridge this gap. But all of us in the society who are advantageous, who are having the advantage of facilities and things like that, can we look at those who are underserved in a much more kind of sensitive way, and whatever we could do to strengthen their own development through education, I think that would be great. And one need not actually go out and teach people, but just being sensitive, just being aware of it, I think will make a lot of things happen. So I've said many things, right, in terms of whether one can become a translator, one can contribute in terms of providing some time to the school, go out and do something, and providing support to the schools in their own areas and things like that. So many possibilities are there. So I would only urge whatever is possible for one should look at that and then try and see what we can contribute to bridge this inequity that is existing.
So thank you so much. You've helped us see what is often invisible in our education system, and for making a case for equity, translation, and recognizing our quiet heroes. If you enjoyed the conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. The link to the book, The Unsung Foot Soldiers, is available in the description below. And until next time, don't stop learning.